What does it feel like to watch humanity head back to the moon after more than 50 years? For some people, it's not just a launch, it's a full circle moment, a reminder of where we've been, and a glimpse of where we're going next. I was at the press site, standing right underneath the United States flag and the Artemis flag, and the weather could not have been more perfect. Then came booster ignition. The rocket roared to life, lifted off the pad, and Artemis II was on its way to the moon. And in that moment, hearing the sound, feeling the vibration, watching real people begin an extraordinary journey, it was impossible not to feel the scale of it. Houston was now controlling the flight of integrity for the Artemis II mission around the moon. And for those of us watching, it felt bigger than a mission. It felt historic. I've gone to space on a rocket, at least in spirit, and I think a lot of people felt that way watching it unfold. There was excitement, pride, and a very real sense that we were witnessing the beginning of a new chapter in human exploration. That feeling takes me back to a story that helps explain why this matters so much. I was born on the island of Guam because my dad was working at the NASA tracking station during the Apollo missions. I was born just 8.5 months after Neil Armstrong stepped onto the moon. My family was on Guam from 1966 to 1970, right in the middle of one of the most important eras in space history. That means Apollo wasn't just a chapter in a history book for me, it was part of my family's life. My dad saw the Apollo era up close, Apollo 8, Apollo 11, Apollo 13, all of it. And like so many people around the world, he watched humanity go from staring at the moon to actually reaching it. Apollo captured the hearts and imagination of an entire generation. It proved that humans could do something once considered impossible. It showed the world that if we had the vision, the technology, and the will, we could turn science fiction into reality. And now, Artemis is doing that for a new generation. Artemis II is not just another launch. It's the next step in returning humans to the moon, and it carries a powerful set of milestones with it. This mission will send the first woman to the moon, the first person of color to the moon, and an international crew that reflects a broader, more modern vision of space exploration. That matters. Because this isn't just about reaching the moon again. It's about who gets to go, who gets to participate, and who gets to see themselves in the story of exploration. What stands out most to me about this crew is that they're not trying to hide the human side of this mission. They're emotional, open, and deeply connected to what they're doing. That's important, because space exploration isn't just about machines and numbers. It's about people. There was one especially moving moment when they named a crater, Carol, after Reed's wife, who had passed away. The crew came together in that moment, and you could see the emotion on their faces as they hugged in space. For a brief moment, the mission paused for something deeply personal and profoundly human. That kind of moment says a lot about this new generation of astronauts. They are highly trained professionals, yes, but they're also thoughtful, reflective, and unafraid to show that exploration can carry meaning beyond the technical checklist. And the mission control team felt it too. There was a moment of silence in Houston, and then the crew was ready to continue their lunar flyby. That's what makes Artemis II so powerful. It's not a replay of Apollo 8. It's something new. Yes, there are obvious echoes of the past. Both missions sent humans around the moon. Both represent a giant leap in what humanity can do. But the goals, the technology, and the context are very different now. It has taken more than 50 years to return to the moon in this way because after Apollo, NASA and the broader space community turned their focus toward low Earth orbit. We built the Space Shuttle program. We helped create and support the International Space Station. And for over 20 years now, humans have lived continuously in space thanks to that effort. That history matters because it shows we didn't stop exploring. We just changed direction for a while. But now we're going back. And here's the challenge. You can't simply dust off 1970s technology and expect it to work the same way in 2026. The world has changed. Our engineering standards have changed. Our scientific understanding has changed. Even our ambitions have changed. So the question isn't just, can we go back to the moon? It's, can we go back in a smarter way, with new technology, new people, and new goals? That's the real heart of Artemis. This is not about planting a flag and leaving. It's about learning how to stay. Because if we want humans to live and work on the moon, and eventually travel farther to Mars, we have to solve the problems that make long-term space life possible. That means figuring out water recycling systems, reliable energy sources, habitats that can protect against radiation, and communication systems that work across vast distances. These aren't just space problems. They're human survival problems. And when we solve for space, we often end up solving for Earth too. Think about it. Better recycling systems in space can inspire better resource systems on Earth. Better energy technologies can influence how we power our homes, cities, and transportation. Better life support systems can push innovation in medicine, engineering, and environmental design. Space exploration has always had this double effect. It helps us reach outward, but it also pushes us to improve life here at home. That's why the Artemis program is so ambitious. The goal is not just a quick visit to the moon. The long-term vision is to create a sustained lunar habitat and use what we learn there as a stepping stone toward Mars. And while the astronauts are flying around the moon, they're not just there for the ride. They're doing science. They're observing the moon's geology. They're studying features, shadows, and surface details. They're relaying what they see back not only to mission control, but to scientists who will use those observations to better understand the moon before humans return there in larger numbers. That matters because human eyes and human judgment still offer something special. A camera can capture data. A robot can travel farther and longer than a human in many environments. But astronauts can notice subtle things in real time, differences in light, shadow, color, and texture that may not stand out in the same way on a screen or in an image file. They can describe what they're seeing with context, intuition, and awareness that comes from being physically present. That's why the human perspective is still so valuable in exploration. You could hear the excitement in the crew's voices as they described the moon. You could feel that they were not just collecting data, they were experiencing discovery as it happened. One of the most beautiful things they shared was the view of the moon's surface, mostly whites and grays, with maybe faint hints of brown in some areas if you looked closely enough. They described the scene as majestic, and they were clearly moved by it. And then there was the Earth photo they captured, a simple image, but one that carries enormous emotional and scientific weight. That photograph has already helped change the way we see our planet. From that distance, Earth looks fragile, connected, and incredibly precious. It's the kind of image that reminds people that our world is one shared home. That's why moments like this become bigger than a single mission. We call extraordinary achievements moonshots for a reason. The phrase has come to mean bold, ambitious goals that seem difficult but matter deeply. And that's exactly what Artemis represents. It's not only about exploration. It's about unity. It's about what happens when people from different backgrounds, disciplines, and nations come together for a common purpose. That's one of the most powerful things about space. It can remind us that despite our differences, we're capable of building something remarkable together. And maybe that's the best reason to care about Artemis II. Not because it is a repeat of Apollo, but because it shows how much farther we've come, scientifically, technologically, and culturally, since those first lunar missions. It reminds us that exploration is still a deeply human instinct. We want to know what's out there. We want to understand our place in the universe. And we want to push beyond what we thought was possible. When the crew eventually splashes down and the mission is complete, I know they'll feel that same mix of relief, joy, and pride that every successful astronaut crew feels. There's something unforgettable about that moment, floating, waiting, bobbing in the water, knowing you made it home safely after doing something extraordinary. And for everyone watching, it becomes a moment of gratitude. Gratitude for the astronauts. Gratitude for the engineers. Gratitude for the scientists. Gratitude for the mission controllers. And gratitude for everyone who makes a mission like this possible. Because in the end, Artemis is more than a flight around the moon. It's a promise. A promise that we are still explorers. A promise that we can still build, still learn, and still reach for something bigger than ourselves. Takeaway. Artemis II shows that the future of space exploration is not about reliving the past. It's about using what we've learned to go farther, stay longer, and inspire the next generation.
If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe to Palsa Lab, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our latest uploads. At Palsa Lab, we explore space, science, astronomy, AI, and emerging tech, bringing clear explanations and fascinating discoveries. Have a question or idea? Drop it in the comments. Stay curious, keep exploring, and thanks for watching. See you next time.